That's why it bring me in here. Hi, y'all. Hi. My name is Hector. My whole name is Hector Mirai, but you can just call me Hector. Say hi. I'm not going to learn all your names in the little bit of time we've got together, but it's cool to be able to hang out with you today. We're going to talk a little bit today about public speaking, a little bit about stage presence, a little bit about creative writing, a bunch of different things like this. So I'm excited to be able to share with you. So here's the thing. There'll be some times I'll ask you some questions, and there'll be times you might have questions too. If you've got a question while I'm talking, just throw up your hand. Just wait for me patiently so I can finish what I'm saying, then I'll get to you, okay? But when we get done, we'll also have some time for some question and answers at the end, okay? Cool? Cool. Who remembers my name? Fantastic. All right. Am I the first Hector you've ever met?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. You've met some other Hectors? You think you have? I've met like 4. And one of them was my dad. So there's not a ton out there. Huh? I don't know. I'm still learning to meet myself, so maybe not. So the reason I'm here and the reason Miss Cadiz.
You've never said my last name before?
Not out.
My new last name.
Yeah, not out loud.
Not out loud.
Okay, cool.
It is what it is.
It is Cadiz. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The reason Miss Cadiz asked me here is because I work and have fun in a lot of different areas that require me to do public speaking and to be on stages and to use my words creatively. And I wanted to share some of that and some of the ideas I have with you, and hopefully be able to help you to be able to do stuff later in your futures too as well. So this is just kind of like a hodgepodge of some of the stuff I do in my life. I write some books. Up there in the middle, I've written 24 books so far. And I've got, by the end of the year, there'll be 2 more out as well. And that covers a bunch of different things from comic books. This is a comic book I've written. I didn't create this comic book, but I wrote this one. I've written children's books, different stuff. We'll talk about writing a little bit later. But I write and I go around to the world doing comic book conventions. You ever heard of a Comic-Con?
Yes.
Okay. I go to about 20 Comic-Cons a year and have a booth set up with books and at Comic-Cons and stuff. You see this picture right here? This is a Comic-Con panel. So those are people who are there to talk about my books and stuff. So I'll have to talk about books as well as that. Then I'm a writer. That's one thing. I'm also, just for fun, not as a job, I act a little bit. This is me as the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz. But I've spent some time acting in my life. One of the jobs I have is a DJ. So I DJ concerts and parties and weddings and all sorts of stuff. So this is one of the biggest stages I've ever DJ'd on. And I didn't put the crowd shot in there, but so that's the biggest stage. And just to show you how big it is, my whole setup for DJing is an itty bitty little speck right there. But that's how big the stage was. But that event had 20,000 people at it. So I get to DJ. Now, why would a DJ need to have public speaking or stage presence? Why?
Because they go to concerts and...
You go to concerts and stuff? Yeah, but it's not always just about pushing buttons. Sometimes you have to get people energetic. Sometimes you've got to get people involved. Sometimes, if it's a wedding, you've got to, please present for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. You got to do all that stuff. You got to kind of be loud with things. So I've done panels. I do different things. Also, as a writer, I wrote for TV for a little bit. And so, each of these little squares is an episode of TV that I wrote. And, just different stuff. I also work with the church. So I speak at churches a lot. This is one of the DJ things I've did. I've been in newspapers for things. But I do a lot that requires me every day to have to talk to people, to have to be in front of people, and to use my words in creative ways. So how many of you, the idea of being in front of people is kind of scary? I feel you. Now, be super honest. I don't know that it ever stops really, really being scary. But the thing is, you just have to learn how you respond to that. Because even today, super honest, I was a little scared coming here to talk to you guys. Now, Sunday, I'll talk to 100 or 200 adults, and that's less scary than coming to talk to y'all. But you're gonna be in different places all throughout your life that you're gonna have to use your words and use your presence to actually connect with people and do things. How many of you know what you want to do when you grow up? Okay, does anybody what you want to do with you when you grow up? And by the way, when I ask that question, it doesn't just have to be a job. So if you just say, I want to make music, that might not be your job. But if you want to make music, that's one thing. But how many of you, if you know what you want to do when you grow up, is going to require you to be in front of people? Okay, like what do you want to do?
Me?
Yeah,
Or him?
you. Let's start with you.
Baseball player.
You want to be a baseball player? Now, that's going to require you to be in front of people, huh? That's a thing that you have to do. And not every baseball player has a lot of stage presence. Not every baseball player is entertaining, but we tend to remember the people who are more entertaining sometimes too. All right, what do you want to do? NFL? Okay. You know what? Our area has a lot of people from the NFL that have come from our area too. Yeah, what about you?
I want to be a YouTuber.
A YouTuber?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the thing. You can totally be a YouTuber. Now, here's the crazy thing. When I was
Millions of people can watch it.
yeah, millions of people can watch you. When I was growing up, being a YouTuber was not a thing. YouTube didn't exist when I was growing up. So the world has changed a lot. And so that's one of the things we'll talk about in how we're being creative is that you're going to find different ways. So being a YouTuber is something that didn't exist 25 years ago, but now is part of our everyday lives. So.
But I also have my YouTube channel, except I kind of gave up because I only have 8 subscribers.
We'll talk about that, okay? So, cool. I'm glad you said that. We'll talk about that you gave up because you had 8 subscribers, but don't give up with that. Yes, ma'am.
What is that picture? What is that picture right there with like the belt?
The belt? That's me giving a talk at a Comic-Con. And so just to say, like, this is a belt that I got as a gift because I'd been writing books for 10 years. And so it's a gift I got for writing books for 10 years. So we're going to talk about this. So ask you a couple questions about public speaking. What makes public speaking hard? The idea of talking in front of people, what makes it hard? Okay.
It makes you a little bit nervous to be speaking in front of so many people.
Mm-hmm. It makes you nervous to be, and listen, people can be scary, but a lot of times what makes it scary for us isn't just the other people. It's about what it makes us kind of insecure or afraid in ourselves and what we're doing. So yeah, okay. It makes you overwhelmed. It really can be overwhelming. Anything else that makes it hard or scary for being a public speaker? Can it be scary? Did anybody else think it's scary to talk in front of a whole bunch of people? Yeah, a lot of us, I feel that way. Anybody else, has anybody had to do something in class where you talked in front of people and it was scary?
Not that much.
Not that much. What was it like? What'd you feel other than just scared? Like, were you nervous? Yeah? Anxious? Okay. Yeah, so public speaking can be hard. So I'm going to share some ideas with you, some things that I've kind of learned about public speaking that maybe if it can be a good example for you to learn from too. So here's some ideas that kind of go along with public speaking that maybe we can learn from. One thing I want to say this is comparison isn't important. Like one of the biggest things that can make it hard for us to do anything is when we compare ourselves to other people. So there's a whole room full of you guys right now. And if I asked one of you to come up and speak, you would be worried about what are the other people going to do? How are they going to feel about what if somebody else does better than me? What if somebody else does worse than me? And I want to tell you this is if you can stop comparing yourself to other people, that's one of the best things that can help you be a better public speaker. Because listen, everybody's going to speak differently. Everybody's going to do something differently. And if you can stop worrying about how you measure up next to somebody else, that can be a hard thing. So like one of my jobs I mentioned, I work with a church. Our church has maybe 4 different people that speak throughout a year's time. Now, do you think I do things exactly like everybody else? But if I'm worried about what I am doing compared to other people, it'll make it harder for me to do. When I do panels at Comic-Cons, let's say, for instance, there is a big Comic-Con, like one of the world's biggest Comic-Cons in North Carolina, will be happening in July. In July, when that Comic-Con happens, there are going to be over 800 different people having a panel talk, discussion. Now, I'm going to have 2 of those 800 discussions at that big event. Now, that event will have 50 to 80,000 people at it. Not all at one time, thankfully. But that event will have 50 to 80,000 people, and over 800 people at that event will be speaking. Do you think that if I worry about how I compare to all 800 of those, that I would be able to get anything done? No, it's kind of scary. So listen, one of the best things that's important, the only person you actually need to compare yourself to is who? Yourself. If you compare you to you, hey, did I do my best? How did I do compared with this? Because that's a question to ask, but comparison isn't important. And that's one of the things that makes us worry so much, is that we aren't doing as good as other people. Another thing that I think, if you just make it about doing your best. Now, one of the reasons that it makes it hard for us when we do things is we're worried about how we're going to be judged, or we're worried about how people are going to take it. If you can change the measure of success, and I know it's kind of a big phrase, but if you can change your measure of success from being how other people think to did I do my best? Like, if you go from, like, if I stand up here and I were to say, hey guys, I'm going to teach you to tap dance. Now, first of all, do you think I can tap dance? Yes. I don't think I can either. But if I stood up here and did my best, even if it was terrible, if I know that I did my best, I should be able to sit back and say, you know what, I did my best. And that I did my best with it. And that, when that can become your measure of success instead of everything else, it helps. My man said that he didn't want to keep doing his YouTube because he had 8 subscriptions.
Yeah, and I had that YouTube channel for about 2 years.
2 years, okay. Now here's the thing, and we'll keep talking about that a little bit later too. But if subscriptions are how you measure success, it can make you feel like you're not a success. Now, if you go into your YouTube channel and you say, I made, how many videos do you think you've made?
I think I remember me making about 7, and if you include my posts, I have 8.
Okay, so if you've got 8 videos, 8 posts, if you'd be able to say, listen, I may only have this many subscribers, but those 8 posts, I did my best at it. If you can say, I did my best in whatever you did, and you can let that be good enough, no matter how many people like it, no matter how many people share it, no matter how many people do that stuff, it will change it. Now, I also have another job that I didn't put up there, but one of my jobs is doing marketing, graphics, and advertising for a college. So every post that goes on the internet, every video that goes up, every reel, everything goes up, it's my responsibility to post it and make it. Now, part of my job for that college is to track how many people view it, how many people like it, how many people share it. And that's part of my job, is to know those things. But here's the deal. When I make something for those things, I don't say, if it gets this many likes, then it's successful. I say, did I do my best in how I made it? And if I feel like I did my best in how I made it, it doesn't matter how many things that I've done. Because listen, I've put my heart into doing some things that get maybe like 2 likes. And then I've done something just silly that got 2.5 million views. And I didn't even try. I'm more proud of the one thing that I did my best on than on something that got a lot more views that I didn't do my best on. So public speaking is one thing. If you can make your success about how you did your best of it, rather than how people respond to it, it can change your attitude. And another thing is to put your whole heart into whatever you're doing. Like, if you can, because how many of you, like, every day at school, like in your classwork, you'll straight up say, you know what, every assignment that I've got, I'm putting my best into everything. Some of y'all ain't raising your hands because you know that ain't true. You're like, my math class, I did not put my best into that. My English class, I did not put my whole heart into that project. Some of us, we will say that. Now, I appreciate y'all being honest, because we don't always put our best into everything. But I'm going to tell you this. When you know that you're going to put your best into what you do, it changes how you feel about what gets done. So if you put your whole heart into your YouTube videos, if you put your whole heart into, like, my man's saying that he wants to play baseball, right? If he puts your whole heart into practice. Now, I have a cousin who I haven't got to spend a lot of time with. His name's Caleb, who actually went to this school forever ago. And he's heading to, within the next year or so, he'll be in the MLB. He'll be playing Major League Baseball. But he started playing baseball here, or when he was a student here, he started playing baseball. And every day he put his whole heart into that, and he got successful at it because he was putting his whole heart into it. When it comes to speaking, when it comes to doing stuff publicly, if you put your whole heart into what you do, you're going to see a difference. How many of you have ever heard somebody just got up to talk and you could tell they didn't care that they were there? Just like, all right, we're going to do this, and here's our list. Like, you can tell if people care about what they're doing. And when you put your whole heart into something, it can be a big thing that can be an encouragement. Now, also just to say this, don't let fear control you. Like I said, I understand being scared. I even told you I was a little scared coming to do this. But let fear, instead of it controlling you, be a reminder, all right, I get the chance to be brave. Because listen, you can't be brave if you're not scared. You ever thought about that? In order for you to be brave, you actually have to be scared first. Because if it's just easy to do, you're not being brave. The only time you can be brave if you're scared. So when you feel something that says, oh man, I don't know if I can do this, or you feel a little bit scared, that's a say, you know what? I get the chance to be brave. So when you actually say, you know what? And guess what? If you are brave and it doesn't go well, do you really lose anything? No, you did. If you are brave and you do your best, no matter how else it goes, then you did your best. Now, I told you I couldn't teach you to tap dance, but once upon a time, I was actually in a dance competition. In my area, I live in Lumberton, so it's just a little down the road from here. I ended up in a Dancing with the Stars competition. And it was just local stars, like North Carolina stars. And I ended up in a Dancing with the Stars competition. And you know what? I practiced 3 days a week for 3 months. For one dance. It was me and another lady, and we practiced 3 days a week for 3 months. And guess what? Do you think I won the competition? No, I totally didn't. I wasn't even in the top 10. But you know what? I went out there, I did my best, I put my whole heart into it, and I feel great about it. I didn't win anything. I didn't raise the most money. I didn't get the most votes. None of that. But if I can show you that video today and say, I'm really proud of this because I put my whole heart into it, I did my best, I was brave, and I put myself out there. So when it comes to public speaking, you can let fear not control you, but you can let it motivate you to be brave. And then just on a really practical scale, if you are worried about saying stuff in public, here's 3 things you can do easy to help make it better. You can plan. Like, don't just make up stuff when you get up there. Actually plan ahead of time. You can practice, meaning you say it out loud before you get there. And then you can do project, which means how many of you, when you talk, you kind of talk a little quiet? How many of y'all, your parents ask you to not be so loud? Or your teachers ask you to not be so loud? Because listen, we have different volume levels. We can talk calmly and quietly, and we can barely be like this. We can talk so quiet that you can barely hear me over just little noises. Or we can talk with big voices and project. When I'm doing theater and stuff like that, one of the things that has to happen, like going back to that one photo with the lion, when you're on stages, especially if you're acting, you might get a microphone like on your face, or you might not, because sometimes microphones don't work. And sometimes you've just got to be loud enough that a whole theater can hear you just by using your voice. Projecting means that you say it like all the way from deep inside and it gets loud enough that everybody can hear it. So when you're working on public speaking, one thing that actually can be a big help is if you plan what you're going to say, you practice what you're going to say, and then you project it. Not just say it like you were reading it out loud, but saying it like you're saying it to a whole room of people. Even if it's just your stuffed animals or your action figures or whatever else. Say it like you mean it. And honestly, if you put those things into practice, it'll help you. But guess what? If you do all of these things, like you stop worrying about comparison, You do your best. You put your whole heart into it. You don't let fear control you. When you do this stuff, guess what else is going to happen? You're going to end up having stage presence. If you can do all those things we just talked about, you're going to have stage presence. You're going to have the chance to, when you're in front of people, that people want to listen to you, that people actually want to listen to what you have to say. Because if you're not concerned with how people see it, listen, if you do your best, no matter what people think, people are a lot more likely to listen. If you actually put your heart into it, they'll do it. If you're focused on doing your best, if that's how you measure success, that success is measured by how you do your best, people will pay attention. And also this, if you put your whole heart into it, people will care. Listen, I don't want, if I can tell people don't care about what they're doing, do you think I want to pay attention? No, but when I can tell that people actually care about what they do, I'm more prone to listen. And then, like I said, being brave and confident. Now, how many of y'all, and I don't want to pick on anybody, so you don't have to do anything. This is just for kicks and giggles, okay? Fun. How many of you would be open to helping me do a quick game? Yeah. Okay. All right, you come on up. And you come on up. Yep. And you want to come up too? All right. You come on up. You come on up. Come on up. All right. Now, we might get some more chances. Y'all come on right here, okay? Now, Miss Nicole, can you give me a simple sentence? Just a short, simple sentence.
I like dogs.
Okay. Now, so this is a dice, okay? It's got 20 sides on it. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you roll your dice. And number one is going to be as quiet and as boring as you can be. And number 20, which is the dragon, is as loud and as exciting as you can be. And then use the numbers in between. So if you get like a 5, you won't be super quiet and boring, but you'll be a little bit louder, a little bit more excited, all right? But we're going to use the phrase, I like dogs. So if we get a 1, it'll be, I like dogs. And then like, if you get a 20, you'll be, I like dogs, whatever. See, just go in, okay? It is a Dungeons and Dragons dice. All right, give it a roll. She got a 13, so that's more than the middle. So do you want to come up and show us what a 13 of I like dogs would sound like? So it's more than halfway, but not crazy excited.
Do your best. Do your voice.
I like dogs.
Okay, yeah. Good. All right, let's give her a round of applause. That was great. High five. All right. All right, let's give it a roll. All right. Shh. We got a 4, so that should be a little less excited, a little pretty quiet. Okay, yeah, that's good. All right. All right, let's go for it. 15.
Oh, I gotta come do it.
I already did it.
You did it? Oh.
What?
Do it again, get in here.
I like dogs.
Oh, that's fast.
All right.
I thought you said I want to do it. Walk away.
5. Okay. Wait, since we already got a 5, let's roll again and see if we get a different number.
20. I dare you to get a 20. I dare you to get a 20.
8. Okay.
I like dogs.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. 3.
I like dogs.
All right. Now, see, you guys did a good job because we saw the difference between like how much effort we put into it, and everybody did a really good job. So I'm proud of y'all for doing that. But listen, we'll see how our timing goes. Here's what I need you to understand. We rolled the dice to pick how good we were going to do there. But every time you get a chance to speak in front of people, every time you get a chance to do something, you're choosing how much effort you're putting into it. You don't have to wait for a dice to do it. You look at your situation, because listen, every situation doesn't call for being loud and screamy, does it? Sometimes it calls. One of my least favorite things to do that I have to do is to speak at funerals. Now, speaking at funerals, do you think that calls for a 20? No. I would say 8 tops. Yeah. So I've got to be able to choose. I have to be able to speak very clearly, but also keep in mind the situation that I'm in.
If you go to like 20, you're going to sound like you're excited.
Yeah, that's not the vibe for a funeral. So here's what we need to understand. We choose how we do every situation. Now, I'm going to switch over a little bit more, and we're going to talk about some of creative writing and stuff too. And everything might not be about writing. Writing might not be your thing, but I'm going to tell you this. If you're making videos, you're writing, even if you don't write it down. If you're making videos, if you're creating stuff, then you're writing, even if it's not going on paper, because that's part of telling the story. But here's some stuff about creative writing, and I believe this goes to art in general as well. So this goes if you're painting, if you're drawing, if you're making videos, if you're designing video games, whatever you're doing, however you create, I think these are some lessons and some stuff that we can apply to our lives. First, I would say this is create what you want to see. Because if you've got because how many of you have ever had an idea that you think nobody else has done before? Okay, some ideas you never before. Now, how many of you guys have had ideas, maybe it's something someone's done before, but you have a different version of how they do it? Because listen, if you make a game show, you wouldn't be the first person to make a game show, but yours might be different. If you create a book about magic and kids who learn magic, that's been done before, but you might do it differently. Create what you want to see. Because listen, if you want to see it, that means that there's a place it belongs. So if you want to tell a story, if you want to play a sport, if you want to make a dance, if you want to make a YouTube, if you want to make a podcast, whatever you want to do, if you have something that you want to make happen, make it happen. So, but listen, you're going to get assignments in school where you have to write papers about certain things. You have to do reports on certain things. And that might not be what you want to talk about or what you want to do, but you still make it the way you would want to make it. So even when you turn in classwork, you should make it to what you want to see. Now, I'm going to say this. How many of you think that your teachers love reading everything you turn in? Yeah? Okay. Some of y'all are real proud. Oh, good. Now here's the deal. I would encourage you or challenge you, when you make papers or when you write projects or you make projects, make stuff that if you were the teacher, you would actually want to read yourself. And I think that'll help change how you do it. Because if you do it well enough that you would want to read it yourself, then it will help. So create what you want to see, because if you want to see it, there's a good chance there's something missing there. There's something missing in the world that you can fill the space of. And that's, again, it doesn't matter how many people respond to it, but you should create what you want to see. Another thing is this, it may not be for everyone, but it will be for someone. If you create something, I'm going to tell you this. Now listen, you said you're 8 subscribers?
Yeah.
Listen, if you've got 8 people that actually want to see what you do, that's a good start.
Actually, 5 of them are my family.
That's how, hey, listen, your family loves you and supports you.
I asked them to subscribe.
Yeah, they love you and support you enough to do it. Some of us don't have family that'll subscribe to our YouTubes. But I'm going to tell you this, guys. It may not be what you write, what you create may not be for everyone, but it will be for someone. So listen, I started writing books. I'm going to flip back over here to this picture. I started writing books what year is this? This is 2026, 13 years ago. I started writing books 13 years ago. In 13 years, I've written 24 books. I'll have 26 done by the end of the year. I hopefully have 26 done by March, but here's hoping. But the first book I wrote, let me say this, I didn't think it was for anybody. I didn't think it was going to go well. I didn't think it was going to be a big success. And then it turned out there was a good amount of people that actually liked reading it. There was a good amount of people that actually like reading it. And here's what I love it and hate it at the same time, that after 13 years of writing, I feel like my writing's gotten a lot better. If you do something for 13 years, it should get better. But I feel like my writing has gotten better. But some people will still tell me that my first book is their favorite. And I'm like, but I just wrote this one and this one. Listen, when you create something, everybody's not going to love it. And if you make something that everybody loves, I don't know if I trust it. Because people don't love everything. But if you create something and you keep doing it, you will find an audience. You will find people that like it. So there are people that buy every book I write. I do podcasts where I talk on podcasts. I interview people, stuff like that. There are people that listen to every podcast I put out. And does everybody listen to what I do? No. Does everybody read what I write? But there are people who care about it. And that means that there's an audience for it. And I'm going to tell you this, if you keep doing stuff, if you keep creating, you will find an audience. There are people that watch videos of just unboxing Pokemon cards. There are people that watch videos of just showing their outfits for the day. Like, people will be into different things. I'm going to tell you this, if you have something that you honestly want to create, it's on your heart to create it. If you have stuff that's on your heart that you want to create it. Because there's an audience for it somewhere. Now, y'all are kids, and what you put out into the world still you have to wait for your parents to sign off on things and these things. But as you get older and you have the freedom to create, you're going to find audiences for what you do. So don't give up just because if it doesn't go the way you want at first. And I'll say this, it's okay to start bad. Just keep going. Now, I don't tell people to read my first book. You know why? It's not great. It's full of like the editing of it. The person who edited it was a first-year teacher who just graduated from college, and they didn't do a good job. And honestly, my writing 13 years ago, not so awesome. I don't tell people to read my first book. Now, the book that I'm writing right now, one of the books I'm writing is the best. I feel like it's the best thing I've ever written. It's the most fun I've ever written. But if you start bad, if you write a song for the first time, if you write a song for the first time and it doesn't go well, make a dance for the first time, do any of these things for the first time and you don't like how it is the first time you do it, does that mean you should quit? No, that means you say, okay, look at it honestly and say, what did I like about this? What did I not like? And keep working. Keep getting better at it. Now, and also with this, sometimes we like to not look at what we do because we don't want to see mistakes. I'm going to tell you this, look at it, learn from the mistakes, because whatever you create, if it's worth creating, it's worth making better. Don't be mad at it if it's not perfect, but it's worth making better. And then another thing that goes with that is learn to take correction. When somebody says, this isn't good, or somebody says, I didn't like this one part, or this could be better, you know what you do? Don't take it like, oh, they hate me, I'm worthless, or anything like that. Because it can feel that way, can't it? If you make something and somebody says a negative thing about it, it can make you feel like it's worthless. But I'm telling you this, if people have criticisms, look at it and ask, is what they have to say true? Can I learn from it? So like I mentioned, my books and stuff online, if you buy a book on Amazon, it gives you the choice to leave a review of the book. Now, most of my reviews, I've got hundreds and hundreds of reviews that are like 4 and 5 stars out of 5, people saying lots of great things, and I've got hundreds of great reviews. But then I've got like 3 bad ones. And you know which ones it's easier to pay attention to? The bad ones. It's way easier for me to think about those 3 people that didn't like my stuff versus the hundreds of people that did. You've got to learn to not do that. Don't just listen to the negative stuff. If you can learn from it, learn from it. But when you're creating things, don't let a little bit of negative stuff stop you from creating. Because listen, some people will only hear one negative thing and they'll quit doing something forever. And I'm telling you, don't give up just because people might have a negative thing. That kind of falls right into fear. We don't let fear control us. We let fear remind us to be brave and to keep going and do other things. Here's a couple other things that go along with how we create in creative writing. If something is on your heart or mind, make it, period. Like I said, I put my first book out in 2013. So 16 years ago, way before y'all were born. 16 years ago? 13 years ago. I put my first book out 13 years ago. Do you think that was the first time I ever wrote? I was writing little bits and making little extra things way before that. I was writing little bit by little bit. I'll say this, if you want to draw, if you want to make arts, if you want to create stuff like that, you should keep creating constantly. If it's on your heart, make it. If there's an idea that you want to see happen, even if it doesn't turn out great, make it. Because that when you learn to take what's in here and put it out there, whether it be a song, a picture, art, anything like that, it'll help make you better at telling stories with that. And then whatever you want to do and be good at, create a little bit every day. So if art is your thing, every artist, so when I'm working at Comic-Cons, I'm there as a writer, but the majority of the people that I work with at Comic-Cons are artists that draw, that paint, that do things like that. And every single one of them, I've heard them say this when I asked about how do you get better. Every single one of them says, do it every day. Even if it's just a sketch, even if it's just a little bit practice. If singing is your thing, sing every day. If writing is your thing, write every day. If drawing is your thing, draw every day. If dance. If it's a sports, practice every day. Hit a few balls, throw a few balls, do whatever you're passionate about. Do a little bit of it every day, because if you do a little bit every day, you will constantly get better. I'm a writer. Writing is my main thing that I do in that area of art, but I've started doing art where I draw. Now, I started drawing, let's say, close to 2 years ago. How many years have I been writing? I've been writing 13. I've been drawing 2. Now, which do you think is better? My writing or my drawing? Writing, because I put 13 years into it versus 2 years. Now, but I can tell you this. I can look at my drawings from 2 years ago, and I can look at my drawings from like yesterday and say, oh, I've gotten lots better. So one of the things I do at Comic-Cons is while I'm sitting there, because some Comic-Cons I'll have to sit at a table for 8-9 hours a day and talk to people, and sometimes there's not a lot of people. So I'll draw, and I've got little sketch cards, almost like baseball cards or whatever, and they're blank, and I'll do a little drawing or painting on one of those, and I'll put them in a notebook and sell them for $1. Little art cards, sell it for $1. And mainly it's for me to actually have conversations with people and to get better at drawing. My art cards, I've sold all of the ones I made from 2 years ago, but even the ones I made a year ago, I can see the difference between what looks good then versus what looks good now. If you do something daily, you're going to find out it gets better. Now, just another big thing, and this is an important lesson, is don't give up on it, period. Don't give up. Because if you give up just when things aren't going well right then, you're going to miss out when things are going to actually be good. Now, I wrote my first book, and when I wrote my first book, I'm going to pull this back up because some stuff kind of ties in. Now, I wrote my first book, this one up here, and when I wrote it, I didn't have a ton of sales the minute I wrote it. I published it in January of 2014. I wrote it in 2013. I published it January 14. January through May, I had like 15 books sell. Now, that's 5 months. If you're a brand new author, if you published your first book and you only sell about 15 books in 5 months, do you feel like you're probably doing great? It didn't feel like I was doing great. But then, as I was still working, a newspaper came and did a story on my book and put me on the front page of the Fayetteville Observer. And then I started getting more sales with that. I started getting more sales with it. Then, and I know this is a tiny person and you can't see who this is, but one of the ladies that's on the TV screens up here, she read my book and she hired me to be a screenwriter for her network. So because a lot of what I wrote about was video games and comic books and nerdy stuff, because it's things I'm passionate about, they hired me to write a TV show about who would win in fights between superheroes. And I got hired to do that because one person read my book. If I gave up writing just because a lot of people didn't read the first day, the first month, the first 2 months, if I gave up writing, would I have had that opportunity? No. But then I got to write 130 episodes of this TV show and then got different TV shows with it. Now, here's the thing. That was all after the first book. Do you think after writing 130 episodes that by the time I got to the second book, I was a better writer? Yeah, because I had practice, because I didn't give up. And here's what I want to tell you guys. It will take time. Whatever you care about, whatever you're doing and how you create, it will take time to get it from a small place to a bigger place. But here's the deal. If you truly care about what you're creating, you'll learn to love it, even if it doesn't get to big, big places. If you can be happy knowing you're making good things, that you're doing your best, and that you actually like creating, it doesn't matter how many people buy it, how much success you have with it. And that's one of the things we have to learn to kind of teach ourselves and train ourselves with that. Going back to creative stuff, and last thing is this: learn from others, but be yourself. Now, one of the things that can be so easy for us, I told you this back when we were talking about just public speaking, is not to compare ourselves to others. This goes back to that. When you see other people doing the same thing you do, or the same thing you're passionate about, does that mean you should give up because somebody else does it? No, but you can learn from them, but don't try and copy them. Still be what you feel like being. Yes, ma'am.
What if someone copies you like constantly, then they stop, then they make their own video, but then they start copying you?
Now, here's the thing I'll say to that. One of the phrases that's been around forever is that imitation is one of the sincerest forms of flattery. When people copy what you're doing, that probably means you're doing something good.
It means they like it.
They like it and they see something, but here's one of the hard parts. You can't stop people from copying you. Literally, I had to have a conversation with a lady this year. There's a lady who was writing a book almost exactly like my book. And she lives on the other side of the country, and she was writing a book almost exactly like my book. And then she was actually going to call her book the exact thing that my book was called, down to the font of how it looked on the paper. And, I said, "Hi, I'm Hector. Nice to meet you. Here's all these books I've written for the last 13 years. Here's the copyright I have on that name of that book. And it wouldn't benefit you to keep going forward." That's like, yes, you can do what you're doing, but it's not a wise choice to call it by that name. And sometimes sometimes it really is about the fact that other people are going to copy you, but don't let people copying you stop you. Now, here's something I'll say this. There have been people that have copied similar things to what I do in different areas. And most of the time, the people that end up copying me don't last that long. The people that copy usually like the idea, but they don't have the heart to keep going. So I want to tell you guys that if somebody copies you, don't give up. But listen, when you learn from other people, you can learn good ideas, but that doesn't mean that you have to just do what they do, because other people will do different things. Just because one person draws Spider-Man doesn't mean you can't draw Spider-Man. Because a lot of people that I work with in Comic-Cons and stuff are people that do the same stuff, but do it differently. And I want to tell you this, whatever you want to create, however you want to do things, learn from others, but make sure you be yourself, because you being yourself is what is going to cause other people to actually be interested in what you do. There are people that are going to watch your YouTube videos. Hey, there's people that are going to watch your YouTube videos because it's you, not because other people do it. There's a lot of people who do similar things to me, but people choose to watch me because they connect with me. You keep being you and what you're doing, and you will find audiences for whatever you create, even if it takes time. So that's some of the stuff I just want to share with you about creative writing. But again, one of the biggest things is write the stuff that you want to see. If you have an idea about something, then that's something that the world needs to see. That's something that the world needs to hear. So one last time, comparisons aren't important. Make everything about doing your best and put your whole heart into what you're doing. Don't let fear control you. Same things with that we should be focused on doing our best, put our whole heart, that we should be brave and confident. Create what you want to see. It may not be for everyone, but somebody wants to see it. If it starts out bad, just keep working on getting better. And learn to take correction and instruction. And if something's on your heart and mind, make it. Do a little bit every day. Don't give up and be yourself in the process. And if you do all those things, you're going to be better at any kind of art you create. And whatever you share with other people, you're going to be able to share in a better, stronger way. Cool? All right. Who's got questions? All right.
Have anyone ever gone against your books?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There are people who hate. Listen, and here's one of the things. Just like you'll find people that love what you do, you're going to find people that hate what you do. And they're going to find people that complain. Listen, again, you can't let that be determined how you do things. But if people don't like what you do, it's okay to keep doing what you're doing. They don't have to understand it. Everybody doesn't have to approve of it. But if whatever you create, even if other people just straight up don't like it or they go against it, it's okay for you to keep going. Because there's not a single piece of art that's ever been created that somebody doesn't hate. Somebody hates everything. All right, yeah.
Can you go to page, the first page you did?
Yeah, okay. Boop. I'll try to. There we go. Let's see. Sorry, I lost it there. Trying to. Okay. What's the question? That one is a video, TV episode about 7 things you don't know about the Flash.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah.
Which one is the like dark blue girl? Right.
Where at?
Right there.
This one?
No, other one.
This one? Right here?
Yeah.
That there are 2 X-Men. One is called Beast and one is called Mystique. And that's who would win in a fight between Beast and Mystique.
Are they like metal kind?
No, one is a shapeshifter and one's a big furry monster, like Cookie Monster. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you come?
Yeah.
When was your first sale on your book?
My first sale was pretty much the day it came out. There was a few people waiting to get it. Because, and one of the things is, I'll also add this to whatever you create. Don't be ashamed to promote what you're doing. If you care enough about it to create it, it's okay for you to share it. Now, some people might get tired about you sharing it. That's okay. They'll live. Share what you're doing. But yeah, pretty much people bought stuff the day it was made. But it really took a few months for it really to get rolling. Yeah.
This comic book, what is it about?
That's the same one right here. It just has a different cover. But this is a superhero called Ace Blade. He is a superhero that lives in Las Vegas, and he's kind of basically just a ninja who was a boxer who bad guys tried to take him out, and so he became a superhero, and he's trying to take out the bad guys in Las Vegas. I didn't create Ace Blade. A friend of mine created Ace Blade, and it's a big comic book that's sold all around the world. But he asked me if I would write an issue of it. So this is the one issue that I wrote. Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of book is this?
That one, that is which was better? The Justice League or the Avengers?
Avengers.
Mama.
Yeah.
What you said about X-Men.
Oh, what I say about X-Men?
Yeah, I watched it.
You watch it? You watch X-Men? Okay. Yeah.
Which girl was you talking about that was
That bought my book?
yeah.
It's this lady right here. She's in a bunch of them. She was the host of one of those shows. Yeah.
Wait. What's this one?
That one is, and I know it's a silly question, okay, but it's who would win in a fight between Batman and Captain America. And
Captain America.
now here's just for a fun, just to let you know about this, for those because of those shows, and this just makes it fun. And this part it made me a better writer. All of those superhero fight shows, we had one host fighting for the one person and one host fighting for the other. I wrote both of their dialogues. So I wrote the whole argument myself, but they just stood there and read what was on the screens. And so I literally had to, every argument I had to write how I was wrong too. So I had to write an argument that Batman would beat Captain America and an argument that Captain America would beat Batman. So it's kind of cool. Yes, ma'am. Up here? That one, which is a better movie franchise, The Matrix or Planet of the Apes. I had to do weird things as it kept going. All right. Yes, ma'am. Right here. And I know my time's up, so I don't want to hold you guys. You got to get going. That one's the Planet of the Apes and the Matrix stuff. Yeah.
Who are these? I know this one, but who's that?
That's Family Guy and The Simpsons. All right. All right, guys, our time is up. So I just want to tell you, make sure all of you have voices, use them well, and I look forward to seeing all of you. But all of you have voices, and you should use them well. Don't let fear stop you from doing that, and make sure you put your best out into the world because it'll make the world better. Okay, I'm done.
Everybody say thank you.